Hello fellow internet dweller, Brickineer here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at set number 5972, the Space Police 3 Space Truck Getaway, or the Space Police 3 Container Heist. It might have different names depending on which country you live in. This set came out back in 2009. For $30, which is about $37 in today's money. It is now able to be found for $27, about $27 used, and about $40 sealed. It comes with 282 pieces and only 2 minifigures. Without further ado, let's get into the features of the set. So, this has got to be one of my favorite Space Police sets. Let's just take a look at the design of it. It's kind of, now that I'm looking at it, kind of like a semi-truck front here. At least this portion of the ship is kind of like a semi-truck. You know, got a big hood, kind of a small window. Maybe the window is too short down, but maybe if it was extended it would kind of look like a semi-truck. But then from there it really branches out into a lot of cool pieces. So you have these giant guns on the front, and they are big laser guns, and they are attached to the common engine piece that you're going to see is present at 4 times in the set. In the back of the set is being used as an engine, but in the front here is used as like a gun. And I guess you could say that these are also engines in the back here, but they would kind of just be shooting towards this little container in the back here. It's got these 3 giant spikes in the front, which looks really cool. The only problem with them is that they do break off very easily. Especially when you're like maybe moving stuff around, maybe you're moving a minifigure or another set around, you might accidentally knock one of them down. So that is a little bit annoying, but they still look cool nonetheless. And the front there looks pretty aggressive, really cool looking. All these engines have a very similar design here. We have a little binocular piece and a little like cheese slope, or like the extended cheese slope grill, maybe some exhaust for the gun there. Kind of like if it overheats for being used too much, then that's where like the steam would come out. And you have this usually used piece as like a controller or like a driving, something like that, is being used just as like a little angle, a little bit of detail, and that's actually present on all 4 of these engines here. Also present on all 4 of the engines are this piece here. Now, these are supposed to have stickers, and I will point out what these stickers are supposed to look like in a little bit on the instructions and the box. I do not have the stickers for them. I put stickers on everything except for these pieces. So they are supposed to have stickers, but I don't have them with me. And you get 4 of them. And it's very oddly kind of shaped here, because if you can see this, it's really sticking out in a very odd direction, and it just gives the ship a really interesting look to it. And you can see here it makes more sense for it to be pointed out that way, but it is pointing out in the opposite direction here. I was kind of interested to see what it would look like with these little wing things flipped around, and that's what it would look like. I don't know if that looks better. It kind of looks awkward now with these lines kind of going straight like that. But that's what it would look like if you flip them around. Anyway, moving on, we have the cockpit up front, and the before that, the hood has this pretty cool looking sticker there with the Black Hole Gang logo on there. If you didn't know what the Black Hole Gang is, it is kind of like the villain faction of the Space Police 3 theme. As a lot of what the bad guys have this logo here, the skull, and it's supposed to be the Black Hole Gang. Anyway, for the cockpit and the cabin, I think it's called the cabin or the cockpit, one of the two. It's got some lights, both white lights, which I guess could be the just like your normal like headlamp things, and then there's some yellow lights in the back there. Maybe that's for like an alarm or something. And in order to put the figure in here, Snake is his name, you gotta take this off. And then I guess there's two ways of doing it from here. You can either remove this windshield piece, like so, and actually it might sometimes take the other pieces around with it. So you would need to remove those. And this windshield piece, especially like the way it's connected, it's got this like really tight square there. So that is why the pieces might, extra pieces might fly off with it. But if you wanted to remove the windshield and then put Snake in there and then put the windshield back on, you can do so like that. Or you can move the container open and then kind of just slide them in or out. And it might be a little harder to actually like put them in place there, but if you just want to like ease of access, slide them in, slide them out, that sort of deal, that would be a better way to do that, just to open the container there. Inside is very basic. You just have a little slope there for him to kind of lay back. And then you also have a little steering wheel right there. So not very complicated. If this set was made today, it would probably have some more buttons, some more panel pieces and stuff like that as to be used as a controller. But you only really have a steering wheel there. Kind of funny. This whole thing operates only on a steering wheel. Moving on. There's some little windshields, which would be useless now that I think about it, because you don't see anything, right? Maybe if the container was open and these were moved or something, you could see something, but those windshields are pretty useless in practicality, but they still look pretty cool. And then you also have these big exhaust pipes, kind of like what you would see in a truck, a big semi-truck. So yeah, it's a really awesome front half there. And then we're going to move on to the back half, the container part of the set. Now, both sides have these really awesome graffiti kind of wallpaper. I really love the design of these, and these are on transparent stickers. So if you wanted to make like a city, have like a little graffitied alleyway of a Lego city, you could use the stickers from this set to do so. We got the Black Hole Gang logo on there in red. Got some like scratches, stuff like that, some scuff marks. This is made up of two giant yellow panel pieces and then one smaller like pillar. And that carries on to the back where you have no graffiti on the back, but then the graffiti carries on the back here, and you got a cool graffiti there. And then it kind of shows what this, or maybe adds a little bit of lore to this set and the Space Police theme here, because you can see the Black Hole Gang logo is kind of covering up some kind of other logo. Maybe this shipping container spaceship was part of some city shipping company, I guess. And the Black Hole Gang took over one of these things. So this is why I would love to see a Space City line, not necessarily Space Police. That could be like a sub-theme of the Space City. And we could have something like this vehicle just without like the Black Hole Gang taking over it, right? I think that would be a pretty interesting theme. But that's for another video talking about potential LEGO themes. This container does have a little chain attached to it, kind of attached to the gun. And if you look on the box and on the instructions, it shows that the Lego minifigure is able to hold on to the chain and kind of hold on there as it is flying. However, you're not able to clip a minifigure hand onto this chain, or at least I'm pretty sure you're not able to. So you're not actually able to do so. You are able to put the hand and attach it to the end of the chain. So if you wanted to fly it around like that, then you could, but you aren't able to hold it onto the side like it advertises. There is a similar piece. It's not really a chain. It's more of like a vine that does have little handles that a minifigure could hold on to, but that of course was not included in the set, and I'm not even sure if that comes in dark gray. All I can think of that piece coming in is green for like a vine and white for like a spider's web. I know it's in a lot of Spider-Man sets. So you're not really easily able to replace it there, and it wouldn't even look very good anyway because it's not that industrial chain look. Maybe they could come out with a new piece eventually with a couple of little handles in between the chains. That might look cool. But moving on, this container is able to open, obviously, and it opens kind of like in a V pattern with both sides coming out like so. And you have a big laser cannon here. Now, before we go into the big laser cannon, just wanted to point out that there is a stickered little control panel there that is used to control the laser gun, I guess. Unfortunately, there is no space for a minifigure to stand here, really. I mean, if you move that all the way up, like so, I guess you are able to fit a figure here. Is the door able to close? No. So the door is not able to close with that panel. So you either have a minifigure in there or you have the panel all the way back like so. Because if it's not all the way back like so, then the doors are not of the container are not able to close. So it's kind of weird there. Maybe it would have been better if the panel would be on like one of the sides here. There's a little more space, but there's not a lot of space for minifigures in the back of here. But I guess if you're playing with the set, then I guess you could say that it is able to be controlled from the cockpit, which makes more sense, I guess. But yeah, so here is the big laser, which is supposed to be heisted, if that's a word. And it is a space police laser that has been transformed, kind of, into a weapon on this big truck. And I think that's a really cool idea of mounting this giant laser onto a container truck. It is able to rotate 360 degrees. It does have to be at like its max height in order to rotate 360 degrees. Otherwise, if you move it too down, not that much down, but like, I guess it doesn't really even hold that much, but if you want to have it a little bit lower, maybe protect it from not being shot at or something, you would need to move it down more, but then it doesn't have that 360. And it is able to move decently. You can move it like so. Maybe if you want to display it like that, I think that would look pretty intimidating on display. You would have a lot of empty space here, but I think that looks pretty cool to kind of have it like that, just on your shelf. But yeah, so that's really all for the set. There's not much to it. Just a lot of really cool like design elements, stuff like that. So now let's take a look at the minifigures. The first minifigure we're going to be taking a look at is my favorite character in Space Police 3, or maybe my second favorite character behind Brick Daddy, is Snake. And this guy is really awesomely designed figure. First of all, let's just quickly get his helmet out of the way. A very awesome, and I'm pretty sure unique to this minifigure. He did appear in some other sets, but unique to this minifigure, he's got this really awesome looking helmet. And it's got these spikes, and it's got this giant jaw protection thing, and it's got little things around the side there. I don't know what those would be, like maybe bolts or something. And it just really gives this helmet a really awesome look. Looks like it could be used in like some sort of post-apocalyptic minifigure. It also does have a visor that you can close, and it makes him look even cooler. I would say though that his face print is really cool as well, and there's the back of it. They're kind of showing off a little bit of his head. I don't think that's an issue though. Yeah, it definitely looks probably cooler with it down, but the face print, once we remove this helmet, you can see is a very cool looking face print. So all those little dots are supposed to be eyes, including the one on his torso. So he's supposed to have 8 eyes, 2 of which are very large and 6 of which are very small. But, however, whenever I look at this figure, I keep thinking that that big one in front of his face is a nose and everything else is eyes. So it kind of looks like he has 6 eyes and a giant nose, and I kind of ignore that one. So that's how I see him. But if you try to envision this to be a giant eye, then it looks even creepier. But yeah, I just can't get out of my head that these are the eyes and that's the nose. I don't know why. But, yeah, so then you have kind of like a fatty looking stomach there. Lots of like curves and stuff, but not the good kind of curves, like kind of fat curves, I guess. A little bit of back printing there, kind of his spine and shoulder blade things, or whatever these things are supposed to be called. I guess I skipped out on this. He does have some like freckles around his eyes, and he also has a very large mouth with teeth at the top. There's no teeth at the bottom. Kind of weird, but I don't think it looks that bad. And then he has the same leg printing as almost every single minifigure, or at least every single Space Police villain in this Space Police 3 wave, is this leg printing there with the chain, the bottom of the Black Hole Gang logo, and then the knee pads. But yeah, that is the Snake minifigure. And then we do have a Space Police officer included in this set. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on him because he is the exact same as the other Space Police officers except for his face print. So he has the same uniform as the rest of the Space Police 3 officers there, with the logos and pockets, some knee pads, etc. He's got the same air tank or jetpack or both there, and he's also got the same helmet with the same visor. But his face is different. Let's take that off there. It is a very commonly used face print that has been used quite a bit. Maybe Agents and Atlantis had the same face print, I would think, is where this face has been used as well. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe that was a different minifigure for this face print, but it's definitely been used a lot of times. And then on the other side of this head, because there is the air tank in the way, I'll just move his head around, and he's got the same scared face print as a lot of other figures. And this is supposed to be the face print when he's kind of like hanging off from that side of the chain that is included in the set. He also does come with a pretty large weapon here. It's a little missile launcher, and basically it's a flick fire missile, but it's like on a handgun. And if you don't know how these work, you just flick them. They kind of suck, but they're supposed to be will flicked out. And I don't really need to show you that. I'm pretty sure you know how that works. So yeah, it's just a little thing for him to hold on to. But yeah, that is the Space Police Officer included in this set. Here is how I display the Space Truck Getaway. I do have Snake in the cockpit there, and I have the police officer there kind of just standing there on the side. It does take up a lot of space because it is almost in a square pattern. Of course, it doesn't look like a square, but like if you made a line kind of like touching the borders of it, it would almost be a square. So you kind of have to have a very large space here to display it there because of these wings that kind of really just stick out. So this is how I display it. Here it is with the cannon open, or the container open, and then the cannon, the big laser gun, kind of out. It looks better with him being kind of like hanging on there. This is a little bit more of an action pose. I think it complements the rest of the builds of the Space Police pretty nicely. Or maybe you want the display to be a little more sophisticated, so you'll have your minifigures on these CMF plates there, kind of just standing out on the side, like I've kind of done here with the Lunar Limo, and kind of what I've done with my Star Wars sets. You'll see that I have these little base blade things that I've built to kind of show off the minifigures for each set. So if you want to display it like that, I would say go ahead. That looks pretty cool, especially maybe not like what I have right now, because most of the other sets have their figures in the vehicles. But if you have all of your sets with this kind of system of displaying them kind of like this, then it might look better for you. Here is the instructions. It's a very kind of beat up instructions just because it's really old. I mean, I did get this set when it came out back in 2009. Not the day of, but like I got it in 2009, okay? So it's a very old instruction manual. It's got a very similar theme to the rest of the instruction manuals. You have the vehicle out in space, and you see the space city there in the background. So, again, really wish that there was a space city line. Anyway, you can see Earth from there, the moon, and some asteroids. Pretty cool. You got your wanted figure here, which is, of course, going to be Snake. There's his like prison number, and he is 10 or so some units tall. Very standard instructions, of course. And then, of course, the only thing that we care about is in the back. Oh, I guess I should point out what these stickers are supposed to look like on the little fins. I don't know what you would call them. I guess there's only some on 3 of them, looks like. So there's just a little more like scuff marks and graffiti. That's really all that there is. So it's not that much. You have the little poster that's in every single set. Instructions showing off all the 6 sets that are in the first wave of Space Police 3, as well as the minifigures. And they're all about 2 inches tall. And then there's an advertisement for the website and the Lego Club magazine, parts list, and then your win. So there's not really too much special about this instruction manual. Just the same stuff as with the rest of the instruction manuals. Here is the box, and I think maybe you don't think this when you see it on camera, but if you see this in person, the first thing that is going to come to your mind is probably, this is a really big box. For $30 only, this is a massive box, and it is the same size as the Power Miners Thunder Driller box. I have reviewed that set before, and I kind of showed off how big that box was. This is the exact same size. It almost is able to fit the Space Truck Getaway set in here, like completely built, but it's a little too small for that. But basically it's the exact same artwork as on the instruction manual, just it's a little different format. This is a little more rectangular. Wanted. There you can see, though, it does say snake instead of just the numbers. So it's a little bit different. Big Space Police logo there, 59727 to 14. On the top here, you can see snake and the gun there and the police officer there with his actual size. Got that sort of stuff. Free Lego Club. Little random stuff on the side. Just want to show this real quick. And there's another shot of it. It's the same shot as on the front. And then you get to the back here, which is the second coolest part of these boxes. And you'll see an opened view of the ship there with the big laser. And it shows that you're able to swivel it. Shows the gun in action there. And that you're able to open and close that container. So that is the box. Again, very large. Pretty interesting to see this big of a box for only $30. Overall, I think this set is really awesome. For the original price of only $30 or $37 in today's money, I think it is an awesome set. For the $27 used price, I think it is also an awesome set, and $40 sealed. Again, awesome price for an awesome set. It's definitely got to be one of the coolest designed Space Police 3 sets, with some of the best minifigures, especially Snake. Probably the best, again, the best Space Police villain. And there's just a lot of nostalgia that I have for this set. I remember getting it for like Christmas one year. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this set. I would encourage you all to get the set if you have any interest in the Space Police 3 line. If you were to get any Space Police 3 set, maybe get this set and then one like other police vehicle, and that's kind of all you really need. Maybe the Skull Twin set would be a better kind of thing. But if you just like the villains, I would say this is got to be the best villain vehicle, at least in the first wave of these Space Police 3 sets. But that is all I have to say about the set. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe consider leaving a like. If you enjoyed this video and a lot of my other videos, then maybe consider subscribing. But this has been Brickineer. Thanks for watching, and peace out.